So I'm here at the Best Western in Grants Pass. That's as far as I made it, which is pretty good. And I was nervous about getting over the border, and I said something kind of stupid. They were asking me my plans, and I said, oh, road trip around California, blah, blah, blah. They're like, how long are you planning to stay? And I said, 6 weeks. And he's like, you have 6 weeks without reporting to work? And I said, lucky me. That's what I said. And it was just spontaneous. And then he thinks for a second. He's like, okay. Gives me back my passport. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was a really stupid thing to say. That's what I'm worried about a lot of times, is my spontaneous stupidity. And I got the last room at the Best Western. It's a very noisy room because there's a big long road coming from the highway down into Grants Pass, and I'm pretty sure we're in the clouds. Let's see. Oops. Those are clouds at a really low level because we're really high up. And I drove until 10 o'clock last night. I got over the border at about 12:40. There wasn't a long lineup, and I felt some body anxiety for a while driving, and then once the dark came, I felt better. But then at parts it was raining like crazy. It was hard to see. It was pitch black, and at one point I ran over some road debris. It looked like some fencing or part of a pallet, and it was quite high, but I just blew right over it, and my car didn't suffer, which I saw when I got here. And then at one point it felt like someone was following me, which is probably paranoia because it's pitch black in the mountains, because I'd speed up to 75 and they would be right behind me, and then I'd slow down to 55 and they'd stay right behind me. Even one point changing lanes to be in behind me, and then at one point I was able to really boot it and kind of weave to lose that person. And then I don't know if they were or not, but I just didn't want to be followed. So I was going to go to Ashland and stay, but I got to Grants Pass, and it was a little exit to go down into Grants Pass. So I'm like, this is a good time to lose this person forever if they are following me. I don't think they were, but I just got kind of paranoid. So to see the same lights behind me, and then even after, if they disappeared for a while, they were back behind me, which could have easily been explainable by them not wanting to be the leader, because it is harder to see when you're the lead car. So anyway, that was that. And then when I was driving down, there was an eye in the clouds looking at me. It was so cool. And then at some point I saw the hugest flock of birds making different formations. And that was really beautiful. And today I have probably about 10 or 11 hours of driving. So I just had some breakfast at this Best Western. And now I'm gonna pack up my car, check out, and go get gas and be on my way. Long day. So I made it to California, and I'm walking up the canyon just to see what it looks like after the fires. It's looking better. More green than when I was here in February. And the other day I noticed I have one gray eyebrow, or white. And I think that's made me realize that I am going to get old and eventually one day look old. It's kind of a strange sensation. And other than that, I feel a little strange. I think my whole being is adjusting to being here. I unpacked my stuff, and I need to find a garbage can and see if I want an American SIM card and maybe take my car for a service. And tonight I have an online meeting for something, but other than that, it's like a fresh start, but feeling a bit strange, like even having a few subtle suicidal thoughts. But nothing major. It's not anything that would happen. It's just, I'm just noticing that it's there, and it also could be that I'm taking a lot of medication for this resonance, so it could suppress me more being down here in a higher resonance area. So I could be feeling the difference of that. I really don't know. Glad to be here, glad that this will be my winter. But it's a strange sensation, for sure. Things were going pretty good when I left, but it's time to leave. So yeah, I'm just really not sure. Maybe I'm stuck in a mental state that's not about being present, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. One thing I didn't mention, the night before I left, I was having a really restless sleep, and I didn't feel like I was fully sleeping the whole time. And then in the morning I was having weird dreams, and I kept going back to sleep and waking up. And at some point I remember that thing happening again where I saw the magical land, but it was just sort of like this golden green glass, or golden green grass, which is a tongue twister. And when I was looking at it, it was dark around it, but it felt like I was looking with my eyes open. But I don't know if I was or not. So usually that's something I see and it feels like my eyes are open, but I know my eyes are shut. But that time when I saw it, I felt like my eyes were wide open looking at it, but my room was dark. But my eyes probably weren't wide open, but they felt like they were. So I don't know, it's almost like my body knew I was leaving the next day to a different world, and was sort of going through these different interior realms before sort of waking up and going on to this world. I have no idea, but it was strange. And I haven't really had a chance to talk to myself about it. I'm walking back now and I spotted somebody made a happy face. You can still spot these happy faces everywhere. I think that's the universe talking. Wow. It's so bizarre. So I feel like I need to not forget to talk to myself a little bit along the way, because I'm going to try to taper off the extra type of medication that I'm taking. So I'm up to 150 milligrams of trazodone and 1/4 of azopiclone and 225 milligram quetiapine in order to sleep. And my theory that I'm going to try out here is that I'll be able to sleep a lot easier here. So last night, which was my third night here, I took a bit off the 1/4 of azopiclone, so I probably took almost an eighth, or a bit more than an eighth, and I tried to take off about 25 milligrams of the trazodone. It might be easier to use the 50 pills that I have to split those. And so I'm going to try to pretty much take no trazodone. And to me, this is an experiment of how, when I'm in an environment that is a bit more resonant, then I won't have as much trouble sleeping. Partly because this is a really high vibration, high energy environment. And I think that what happens for me, partly, is that I can be in high energy states. So if I'm in a really low energy environment, my brain has to pretty much get to the waking state energy of the lower energy environment and then get to sleep. Like, so it has to go even more further down in energy to sleep when my energy, I feel, sometimes is higher. I don't know if that's true. It's just a sense I have after 7 years of this type of thing and the different situations I've been in over the years, especially recently. So here, high vibe sort of matches my vibe. So for the brain to calm down and go into, like a sleeping state, the jump in energy isn't so big relative to the environment. People are more awake here in general. So it's not like going down to, sometimes I think my brain just thinks it's sort of dreaming awake because to me, when one is super awake, reality becomes more like dream stuff in a way. So the brain can get really confused and almost think it's sleeping. It's really complicated. But point being, I want to keep talking to myself about this because maybe I will be able to get down to pretty much no meds here. And I'm going to try and do it with the Peter Smith supplements that I'm taking. I was able to totally taper last year by taking hearty nutritionals, which could have been sustainable if I wouldn't have gone back to my home environment. But I'm going to try it here again, and if I could at least be off the Zopicone, that would be good because I can save it for when I really need it. And also the Trazodone, because if I can not take the Trazodone anymore, I can go back on St. John's wort and tryptophan, and that will help me sleep as well. But I can't take those when I'm on a medication for serotonin. And last night I also didn't take a Benadryl, so I just dropped the Benadryl. I'm pretty much going to drop the Zopicone and probably be down on the Trazodone as well. So even to be here and sleep with less Trazodone and less Zopicone, I might even cut out the Zopicone tonight or tomorrow. And if I'm able to sleep without it, that's already a huge bonus because I've been taking that stuff for a couple months, I think. Just a tiny bit, but it seems like my brain just can't go to sleep without it. It can't settle down. It can't feel safe to sleep in an unsafe environment. Or it's not even unsafe, it's just not really resonant with the brain. So the brain is unsettled. It's like, I don't want to sleep here. I don't want to be here. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I just don't want to forget to share the beauty. I am feeling a little bit of like settling in. Like the first 2 days I was here, the first 2 mornings I felt kind of like depressed. I knew it wouldn't last, but to me it almost feels like I'm here in this resonant environment, and then by taking the meds, it doesn't cause depression back home because it just sort of tranquilizes my brain and makes it sort of okay to be in a lower resonance. But here, since it's high vibe, I'm sort of depressing myself when I don't need to because I'm in an environment that is the same kind of resonance. So then I experience this sort of feeling of depression, which to me indicates that I don't, it's almost counterintuitive. I might think, well, I need more antidepressants, but really I need less. So this morning I didn't feel depressed at all. So it's just like settling into a completely new environment. So yeah, that's all I have to say for now, but I don't want to totally cut off talking to myself, but I can't probably make as much content as I was. I might try to do more in writing. We'll see here. We will see.
Oh, you're right, it is, yeah.
Oh, crap. there's one coming out of the water, look. It's a sign, like it's trying to tell us something. Like there's a bird. So I haven't found that much time to talk to myself since I got to California a week ago. It's been a week since I got here, and already last night I didn't have to take any Zopiclone for the first time in months. And I tried to not take it when I was back home, but I couldn't get away with it. I couldn't fall asleep. And I'm down to I'm down to 50 milligrams of trazodone when I was taking 150. And tonight I'm going to take 75, or I mean 3/4 of a 50 milligram, and then 25, and then a quarter, and then I'll be done. So I really do feel at home here. This feels like home. People have said welcome home. So I'll probably go back home to Canada after this, but I'm kind of wondering if when I went to California 7.5 years ago now, before I was diagnosed with anything, if a new aspect of my being was born in a way, and I feel more connected with it when I'm here in California. I really don't know, but I just seem to be able to exist more as a whole here. So much more to talk about and say, but not really having the time to say it. My Spire stone fell in the toilet yesterday when it was on my pants, and it fell in the toilet, so that could be a sign to stop using it, at least for a while. I just had a massage and I'm feeling really relaxed. So I'm gonna rest for a bit. But I haven't really got into any process of talking to myself or documenting some of this process of coming here and being able to do without as many medications. And there's been so many beautiful things already. It's impossible to keep up. The only way to keep up is by living it. And that's it. And here, there's a real chance to live it. And yeah, there's something really important happening, I think, and I really don't know exactly what it is, but I don't think anyone can know what it is, because what it is isn't an it. It's not something that can be narrowed down by the human mind, and this process is part of the mind opening up, and so any attempt to narrow it down is a contradiction to what's really happening. So yeah, I've had some subtle insights come to mind, but no time to capture them really. So we'll see how this unfolds. I see your beauty. You're okay, you're safe here. And you can come out and play with us. All right. Oh, little little bug. We call you a bug, but is that what you really are? Are you bugging us? Are you bothering us? Or we don't bother with you because we're afraid of you? You look kind of brown and you have different color pattern on your legs. It's alternating. But do those words really describe your beauty? The beauty of the intelligence that brought you here. Where did you come from? You were in the bathtub this morning. How did you get in there? How would you have climbed up the wall if you couldn't even get up the side of the bathtub? Maybe you could. Maybe it's a different texture. I don't know. I'm curious about you. I could look at you for hours and you'd talk to me, but I'd hear you speaking in my own voice. You're afraid, but I'm not going to harm you. And that's why you showed yourself to me. Thank you. I'm not sure where you want to live, but the last time I saw you, you were on this porch, so I think this can't be too far off. I think you'd rather live here than in a bathtub or a sewer pipe. Here you go. All right, see, now you're calm. Look how you're perfectly designed to walk in this environment. How beautiful and elegant. You look more elegant in your natural environment than you do in a bathtub or a cookie container. I have a visitor. Hey, buddy. What have you come to talk to me about? Huh? You didn't even knock. You didn't knock at the open door. You just came in. Hey. I don't think I quite touched you, but it's the gesture that counts. The moving towards, the reaching. Not all the words and the preaching. You guys are having a good time lately, aren't you? You're celebrating a bit with us. Thank you. Thank you for whatever it is you do. And if I needed to know, I know you'd tell me. I'm going to put you back outside because I don't think you have any questions. I think you just wanted to come and say hello. No more questions. Love is the answer. So